Welcome everybody to Channeled from the Upside Down. For those of you who are new here, I am a huge Stranger Things fan. I am also someone who recently had a bit of a spiritual awakening over the last few years where I started getting very detailed, thorough, elaborate messages channeled to me in my dreams, some of which ended up playing out in my real life. So I have questioned if I have some sort of clairvoyance or psychic abilities. I also had this epiphany over the last few months that a lot of my dreams in the last few years involved the cast of Stranger Things. So I recently decided to turn these dreams into theories that potentially could be predictions for Stranger Things 4. If you haven't watched my first video I posted, I go into more detail on some of those messages. But today I wanted to focus specifically on songs. Songs is a huge theme of my dreams. I often will wake up with a song in my head, sometimes just a song that I've only heard once in my entire life, or perhaps it's been sometimes 10, 15 years since I've heard the song, but it's randomly in my psyche after I wake up from a dream. A lot of times my dreams are very long, so I'll write down the storyline, and then if there happened to be a song that I also was channeling, I'll write that down at the end. And so here I went back through just to see if there was any correlation with songs and the Stranger Things dreams. Sure enough, there were a few, and I was actually pretty excited when I did some further research because a lot of the songs that showed up in these dreams, believe it or not, did come out in 1986, which is when Stranger Things Season 4 is going to be taking place. So let's talk about it. I have no idea if I'm going to be right. I have no real idea where these channeled songs are coming from or the message I'm supposed to take from them. But in this context, I'm just going to see if they do predict the Season 4 Stranger Things soundtrack. So, song number 1, Open Your Heart by Madonna. I'm going to play a little snippet here. Madonna has shown up on previous season soundtracks. It's been a big favorite. There were a couple of Madonna songs in season 3, and this one came out in 86. So we will see. Next song, Higher Love by Whitney Houston. She's an icon from the 80s. This wasn't necessarily one of her most popular songs, but sure enough, it also did come out in 1986. I'll play a little snippet. And so time will tell if that shows up in season 4. Another one that showed up wasn't actually a song from the 80s. So this one I'm not sure on, but it did show up in a dream with Hopper. And it is Baby What a Big Surprise by Chicago. I was shocked to wake up with this song in my head. I used to listen to this as a kid with my own dad, but I don't think I've heard it since I was 9 or 10 years old.
Baby, what a big surprise.
So again, I think it came out in 77, so not an 80s song. But again, you never know. I think there have been a couple songs in previous season soundtracks that didn't necessarily come out in the 80s. So we will see. And then the final one isn't actually a song, but I did get a channeled message with the word Roxette. And as most of you should know, Roxette was a very popular band in the 80s and 90s. And I distinctly remember seeing it written down in a dream where Stranger Things characters were also involved. And so what I did here, I did some research on whether or not Roxette had any songs that came out in 86. I know most of their stuff was a little bit later in the 80s, but they did have an album that came out in 86. So I went ahead and listened to that. There's 3 songs on there that stood out to me, and so I'm just going to go ahead and make the call. Roxette, either Secrets That She Keeps, or Voices, or I Call Your Name. Those were all released on the same album in 86. And so I'm going to guess that one of those will be on the season 4 soundtrack. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I recommend checking out some of my other videos that I have posted and will be posting, as I have a lot of different channeled messages involving Stranger Things, and I am excited to see how they might potentially be connected to season 4.